The Deep Space Monitoring Station beeped steadily in the quiet control room of the U.S. Triumph. Lieutenant Emily Brooks rubbed her tired eyes and leaned closer to her screen, her coffee going cold beside her keyboard. For the past hour, strange signals had been appearing at the edge of their detection range, unlike anything she'd seen before. "Commander Harrison," she called out, her voice steady despite her growing excitement. "You need to see this, sir." Commander James Harrison strode across the bridge, his experienced eyes quickly scanning the data scrolling across Emily's screen. At 53, Harrison had spent more than half his life in space, but nothing in his decades of service had prepared him for this moment. "Talk to me, Lieutenant. What are we looking at?" he asked, placing a reassuring hand on the back of her chair. "The signals started appearing about an hour ago, sir. They're not random space noise, and they're definitely not from any of our ships." Emily pulled up a visualization of the signal pattern. "Look at these energy signatures. They're organized, deliberate. Whatever this is, it's artificial." Harrison's face remained calm, but his mind raced with possibilities. The U.S. Triumph was humanity's newest and most advanced battleship, launched just 6 months ago. At nearly a mile long, armed with quantum weaponry and protected by experimental shield technology, it represented the peak of human military achievement. If this was truly first contact, they needed to handle it carefully. "Get me Chief Engineer Foster," Harrison ordered, pressing his comm button. "And wake up Intelligence Officer Roberts. I want a full analysis of these signals within the hour." Amanda Foster arrived on the bridge moments later, her red hair hastily pulled back into a ponytail. The chief engineer had been in the middle of running diagnostics on the ship's new quantum core when the call came. Behind her, Michael Roberts hurried in, still buttoning up his uniform jacket. "Show them what you found, Lieutenant," Harrison commanded. As Emily replayed the signal data, Foster's eyes widened. "These energy readings, they're massive, sir. Whatever's out there, it's big, really big." Roberts nodded in agreement, his analytical mind already breaking down the possibilities. "The pattern suggests multiple sources, Commander. If I had to guess, we're looking at a fleet of ships, not just one vessel." Harrison moved to the central command station, his boots clicking against the polished floor. With a few quick commands, he brought up the ship's tactical display. The U.S. Triumph's sensors were the most advanced ever created by human hands, capable of detecting ships even in faster-than-light travel. "There," Roberts pointed to a cluster of faint signals. "They're still at the edge of our range, but they're definitely heading our way. I count at least 20 distinct signatures, maybe more." "Sound general quarters," Harrison ordered, his voice echoing through the bridge. "But keep it quiet. No sirens. I want the crew alert but calm." Throughout the massive ship, crew members woke to gentle vibrations in their beds and soft blue lights in their quarters. The night shift straightened in their seats, while off-duty personnel quickly made their way to their stations. Within minutes, all 1,000 crew members were awake and ready. Emily's console beeped again, more urgently this time. "Sir, I'm receiving a transmission. It's not in any language I've ever heard, but the computer's starting to decode it." The bridge crew held their breath as garbled sounds emerged from the speakers. Slowly, the ship's advanced AI began to make sense of the alien language, converting it into rough English. "Approach your system. Submit to authority. Prepare for inspection. Resistance will be met with appropriate force." Harrison's jaw tightened. He'd spent his entire career preparing for a moment like this, hoping humanity's first contact would be peaceful but ready if it wasn't. The message's tone told him everything he needed to know about these visitors' intentions. "Send no response," he ordered. "Lieutenant Brooks, continue monitoring and decoding. Foster, I want all systems at full readiness, but keep our power signatures low. Let them think we're less advanced than we are. Roberts, start building me a tactical analysis of their approach pattern." As the crew rushed to comply with his orders, Harrison stared at the tactical display. The alien ships were getting closer, their signatures growing stronger. In a few hours, humanity would face its first interstellar confrontation. He thought about the responsibility resting on his shoulders, not just for his crew, but for all of Earth. Well, he muttered to himself, a slight smile crossing his face, they certainly picked the wrong ship to threaten. The U.S. Triumph's quantum core hummed quietly in the background, its immense power waiting to be unleashed. Humanity's first contact with alien life might not be peaceful, but they were far from helpless. The next few hours would change the course of human history forever. The bridge of the U.S. Triumph erupted into activity as the alien fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. 30 warships emerged from the void, their hulls gleaming with a strange metallic purple sheen under the distant sunlight. They arranged themselves in a perfect arrow formation, a display of military precision that was both beautiful and threatening. Intelligence Officer Michael Roberts let out a low whistle. Would you look at that? Their ships are identical. Same size, same configuration. No variation at all. That's not necessarily a good thing, Commander Harrison replied, studying the tactical display. It means they've never needed to adapt their designs. They've never faced a real challenge. The alien ships were impressive, each one nearly as large as the Triumph. Their hulls bristled with what appeared to be weapon ports, and their engines pulsed with an eerie blue light. But something about their formation bothered Harrison. It was too perfect, too rigid, like a parade ground demonstration rather than a practical combat setup. Robert Turner, the tactical officer, spoke up from his station. Sir, I'm reading energy buildups in their weapon systems. Classic plasma-based technology, from what I can tell. Powerful, but predictable. Before Harrison could respond, Lieutenant Brooks's console lit up. Commander, they're broadcasting again. The translation software is working better now. A deep, resonating voice filled the bridge. Attention, primitive vessel. You are now entering space claimed by the Carthian Empire. Your system has been selected for integration into our domain. Prepare to be boarded for inspection and categorization. Resistance will result in immediate destruction. Harrison exchanged glances with his senior officers. The aliens' arrogance was almost amusing. They hadn't even bothered to scan the Triumph properly, assuming it was just another helpless prey species they could bully into submission. What's their weapons range, Turner? Harrison asked quietly. At their current power levels? About 50,000 kilometers, sir. We could hit them from twice that distance. Harrison nodded, a plan forming in his mind. Foster, how are our shields looking? Chief Engineer Amanda Foster's fingers danced across her console. Ready for anything they might throw at us, sir. The quantum harmonics are fully charged. They won't know what hit them. The alien fleet continued its approach, maintaining their perfect formation. Robert studied their movements carefully, noting every detail. Look at how they move. It's all synchronized. I bet they've never faced an enemy that could match their technology before. They're used to overwhelming primitive species with sheer force. Well, they're in for a surprise, Harrison muttered. He straightened in his command chair. All hands, battle stations. But remember, quiet running. Let them think we're helpless right up until the last moment. Throughout the massive ship, crews moved to their combat positions. Weapon systems powered up silently, shields hummed at ready status, and the revolutionary quantum core pulsed with barely contained energy. But from the outside, the Triumph appeared to be making no hostile moves at all. The alien ships drew closer, apparently convinced of their superiority. Another transmission boomed through the bridge. Your silence indicates submission. Prepare for boarding parties. Any resistance will be met with. Now they're just getting repetitive. Harrison interrupted. Lieutenant Brooks, open a channel. Emily's fingers flew over her console. Channel open. Sir. Harrison stood, his voice calm and controlled. This is Commander James Harrison of the U.S. Triumph, representing the sovereign space of Earth and humanity. Your threats are noted. Your demands are rejected. You have 30 seconds to power down your weapons and withdraw from our space. There was a moment of stunned silence from the alien fleet. Then laughter, actual laughter, came through the speakers. You dare to threaten the might of the Carthian Empire. Your primitive vessel cannot hope to. 20 seconds. Harrison cut them off. He nodded to Turner. Target their flagship. Low power warning shot, just across their bow. A single quantum torpedo streaked out from the Triumph, faster than the alien ships could track. It detonated just in front of their flagship, the energy blast rocking the massive vessel. The perfect formation wavered for the first time. The laughter stopped. The alien voice returned, now tinged with uncertainty. This is impossible. Your weapons can't. Time's up, Harrison announced. Lieutenant Brooks, close channel. Turner, battle stations. Foster, bring shields to full power. Let's show the Carthian Empire exactly how primitive humanity can be. The U.S. Triumph's external lights blazed to full brightness, its weapon ports opening as power surged through its systems. The alien fleet's perfect formation suddenly didn't look quite so impressive anymore. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready to prove itself among the stars. Captain Thomas Walker strode onto the bridge of the U.S. Triumph, his presence immediately commanding attention. As the ship's highest-ranking officer, he had been awakened the moment the situation escalated. Commander Harrison quickly briefed him on the standoff with the Carthian fleet. "Good work, James," Walker said, studying the tactical display. "Now let's show these aliens why you don't threaten Earth." He turned to Chief Engineer Amanda Foster. "Give me a status report on our systems." Foster's fingers flew across her console, bringing up detailed readouts. "All systems at peak performance, Captain. The quantum core is running at optimal levels, and I've got a few surprises ready." She allowed herself a small smile. "I've been tweaking our shield harmonics. They're going to have a hard time even scratching our paint." The Carthian fleet had recovered from their initial shock and was spreading out, trying to surround the Triumph. Their formation was textbook perfect, too perfect. It told Walker everything he needed to know about their experience in real combat. "Jessica," Walker called to the ship's AI specialist. "What's our combat computer showing?" Lieutenant Jessica Green was already deep in consultation with the ship's artificial intelligence. "The AI has analyzed their movement patterns, sir. They're using standard fleet tactics, the kind that'd be in a first-year military textbook. No creativity, no adaptation. The computer's already calculated 17 different ways to break their formation." Walker nodded, pleased. The Triumph's eye wasn't just a computer. It was a learning system, capable of analyzing and adapting to new situations in real time. Right now, it was processing centuries of human military history, looking for the perfect counter to the Carthian tactics. "Lieutenant Brooks," Walker said, "are you still receiving their—" The Carthian fleet struck first, exactly as Lieutenant David Miller had predicted. Streams of bright purple plasma fire erupted from their ships, lighting up space like artificial lightning. To an observer, it would have looked overwhelming. Enough firepower to level a small continent. But Miller just smiled at his point defense console. "Amateurs," he muttered, his fingers dancing across the controls. The Triumph's defensive systems came alive, not just blocking the incoming fire, but analyzing and adapting to it in real time. "Status report," Captain Walker demanded, standing calmly as space burned around his ship. "Their weapons are exactly what we expected, sir," Miller reported. "Standard plasma-based technology. Powerful, but predictable. Our adaptive shields are holding at 98%. The Carthian attack faltered for a moment as they realized their initial barrage had failed to do any significant damage. Their perfect formation wavered slightly, the first crack in their disciplined facade. "Sir," Turner called from tactical, "they're trying to coordinate for another strike. Same pattern as before." Walker nodded. "Time to show them something new." Miller switched to active point defense. "Turner, target their lead ship's weapons array." Minimal power. Let's not destroy them if we don't have to. The U.S. Triumph's response was beautiful in its precision. Instead of just absorbing the next wave of plasma fire, the ship's defensive systems reached out and caught it. Streams of enemy fire curved away harmlessly, controlled by the Triumph's quantum field manipulators. Impossible. The Carthian commander's voice boomed over the comm channel they'd left open. No shield technology can. Their protest was cut short as the Triumph fired its first real shot of the battle. A quantum torpedo, barely powered to Quater strength, sliced through space. The Carthian flagship's shields flared bright purple as they tried to stop it, and failed completely. The torpedo struck their main weapon array, slicing it off cleanly. Direct hit, Turner reported, unable to keep the pride from his voice. Their flagship's main weapons are disabled. No casualties on their side, just like you ordered, sir. The Carthian fleet's response was chaos. Their ships broke formation, each commander seemingly deciding on their own course of action. Some pressed the attack, others began defensive maneuvers, and a few simply froze in place. They've never dealt with this before, Roberts observed from his intelligence station. Their whole strategy relied on overwhelming force against inferior opponents. They don't know how to handle an equal, let alone a superior force. Walker watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Foster, how are our systems holding up? Everything's running perfectly, sir, the chief engineer replied. The quantum core is barely warmed up. We could keep this up all day. The Carthians regrouped for another attack. This time they split their fleet, trying to attack from multiple angles at once. It was a decent strategy, against a conventional opponent. But the Triumph was anything but conventional. Miller, show them why we spent 3 years perfecting our point defense systems, Walker ordered. Miller's response was to activate one of the Triumph's most revolutionary features. The ship's defensive screen didn't just protect it. It reached out into space, creating a web of quantum fields that could track and intercept incoming fire from any direction. As the Carthian ships opened fire again, something remarkable happened. Every single plasma bolt was caught and contained by the Triumph's defenses. The space around the human ship became a dance of light as enemy fire was captured and harmlessly dissipated. Sir, Brooks called from communications. I'm picking up a lot of chatter from their fleet. They're panicking. Some of their ships are reporting shield failures from feedback through their weapon systems. Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Triumph wasn't just defending itself. Its quantum fields were sending energy pulses back through the enemy weapons, disrupting their systems without causing any real damage. Open a channel to their flagship, Walker ordered. Channel opened. Sir, this is Captain Walker of the U.S. Triumph. As you can see, your weapons are ineffective, and we can disable your ships at will. We don't wish to destroy you, but we will if you force our hand. Stand down your weapons and withdraw from Earth space. The response was immediate. The Carthian flagship's engines flared as it tried to back away from the Triumph. Other ships in their fleet began to follow suit, their perfect formation now completely forgotten. The first real battle between humanity and an alien force was turning into a demonstration of just how far humanity had come. The stars themselves seemed to watch as human ingenuity and technology proved themselves superior to an empire that had known only victory for centuries. The Carthian fleet regrouped at a safe distance, their once perfect formation now a scattered mess of nervous ships. Chief Weapons Officer William Parker watched them carefully from his station, noting how their movements had changed from confident precision to uncertain hesitation. They're trying something new, sir, Parker reported to Captain Walker. Energy readings suggest they're charging their heaviest weapons. Walker exchanged glances with Commander Harrison. They had expected this. A cornered enemy often resorted to brute force. Foster, how are those shield modifications coming along? Ready and waiting, Captain, Amanda Foster replied from engineering. The quantum harmonics are tuned perfectly. The harder they hit us, the more energy we can absorb and redirect. The Carthian ships began to move again, this time forming a sphere around the Triumph. It might have been an intimidating sight if the human crew hadn't already proven their superiority. The alien vessel's weapons ports glowed with building energy, preparing to unleash everything they had. "Sir," Jessica Green called from her eye control station, "the computer has analyzed their new formation. They're going to try to overwhelm a single point in our shields. It's actually a clever tactic against traditional shield technology." Walker nodded. "Too bad we're anything but traditional. Parker, prepare quantum torpedoes. Minimum yield. I want to disable, not destroy. Foster, stand by with the shield absorbers." The Carthian attack, when it came, was spectacular. Every ship fired at once, their plasma weapons converging on a single point of the Triumph's shields. The space around the human ship lit up like a newborn star as raw energy slammed into the quantum barrier. But instead of buckling under the assault, the Triumph's shields began to glow with an otherworldly light. The quantum harmonics that Foster had perfected were doing their job, absorbing the massive energy attack and channeling it through the ship's systems. "Shield status," Walker demanded. "Holding at 95%, sir," Foster reported, her voice filled with professional pride. "And you're not going to believe this. Our power reserves are actually increasing from the energy absorption." The Carthians seemed to freeze in shock as they realized their all-out attack had not only failed but had made their target stronger. Their communications channel erupted with confused chatter in their own language, which the Triumph's computers quickly translated. "Impossible. Their shields should have collapsed. What kind of technology is this? The High Command never prepared us for this." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Parker, let's show them what we can do with their own energy. Target their weapon systems only. 3 ships, your choice." Parker's fingers flew over his console. 3 quantum torpedoes launched from the Triumph, each one glowing with absorbed Carthian energy. They moved faster than the alien ships could track, striking their targets with surgical precision. 3 of the largest Carthian vessels suddenly found themselves without functioning weapons, their main artillery completely disabled. "Direct hits on all targets," Parker reported. "No casualties, just like you ordered, sir." The remaining Carthian ships began to pull back, their sphere formation breaking apart. Fear had replaced their earlier arrogance. In just a few short exchanges, they had gone from confident invaders to a scared, retreating force. "Sir," Roberts called from his intelligence station, "I'm picking up some interesting data. According to their communications, this is the first major military defeat the Carthian Empire has suffered in over 3 centuries. They've never encountered a species with technology that could match, let alone exceed their own." Walker stood from his command chair, watching the tactical display as the alien ships attempted to regroup yet again. "Send them a message, Brooks. Tell them this is their final warning. The next salvo won't be aimed at their weapons." As Brooks transmitted the message, the bridge crew watched the Carthian fleet's reaction. The aliens' movements were becoming increasingly erratic, their formations falling apart. 3 centuries of unchallenged military superiority were crumbling in the face of human innovation. "Captain," Foster reported from engineering, "we're still at nearly full power. The quantum core actually gained energy from their attack. We could keep this up for days if we needed to." Walker nodded, studying the enemy fleet. The Carthians were faced with a choice: continue fighting and face certain defeat, or accept that they had finally met their match. As he watched their ships mill about in confusion, he knew the battle's outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had proven itself among the stars, and the Carthian Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson in humility. The remaining Carthian ships suddenly fired up their engines, their intent clear. They were attempting to retreat. The purple glow of their faster-than-light drives began to build, creating ripples in space around their hulls. "They're trying to run," Commander Harrison observed, but Captain Walker was already ahead of him. "Foster, activate the FTL interdiction field," Walker ordered calmly. Let's show them another human innovation. Chief Engineer Foster's hands moved across her console with practiced efficiency. The Triumph's quantum core pulsed, sending out invisible waves of energy that wrapped around the battlefield. The Carthian ship's engines flared and sputtered, their escape attempt failing as the human technology prevented their faster-than-light drives from engaging. "What is this sorcery?" The Carthian commander's voice boomed over the open channel, panic evident in his translated words. "You cannot block faster-than-light travel. It's impossible." "You'll find, Commander," Walker replied coolly, "that humanity has rewritten the definition of impossible many times. Your ships will go nowhere without our permission." The Carthian fleet's response was desperate. 3 of their undamaged ships charged forward, weapons blazing, while others tried to scatter in different directions. It was a last, hopeless attempt to break free. "Miller, defensive pattern Echo 7, Walker commanded. "Parker, target their engines. Minimal power. Let's not cause any unnecessary destruction." The Triumph's response was beautiful to watch. Point defense systems caught and deflected the incoming fire with ease, while precisely aimed quantum torpedoes struck the engines of the charging ships. One by one, the Carthian vessels went dark, their power systems completely but temporarily disabled. "Sir," Brooks called from her communication station, "I'm picking up distress signals from the disabled ships. Their life support systems are switching to emergency power." Walker nodded. "Foster, extend our shield bubble around those ships. Make sure their crews stay safe." He turned to Brooks. "Open a channel to all Carthian vessels." "Channel open, sir." Walker stood, his voice firm but not unkind. "This is Captain Walker of the U.S. Triumph. Your ships are disabled, your weapons are ineffective, and your escape routes are blocked. We have shown considerable restraint, but our patience has limits. You have 2 choices: surrender and be treated with respect according to human military protocols, or continue this pointless fight and risk the destruction of your fleet. You have 5 minutes to decide." The bridge crew waited tensely as the seconds ticked by. The remaining Carthian ships hung motionless in space, their own command structure apparently in chaos as they faced a situation none of their training had prepared them for. "Incoming transmission," Brooks announced, from their flagship. The Carthian commander's voice had lost all its previous arrogance. "U.S. Triumph, this is Supreme Commander Volk of the 3rd Expansion Fleet. We submit to your terms. Never in 3 centuries has the Empire faced such overwhelming power." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "A wise decision, Commander Volk. Maintain your current positions. We'll begin rescue operations for your disabled vessels immediately." The tension on the bridge eased as the reality of their victory sank in. Humanity's first interstellar battle had ended not in destruction, but in a display of superior technology and tactical restraint. "Foster, begin power-up sequences for our rescue shuttles," Walker ordered. "Miller, maintain defensive screens but power down weapons. Roberts, I want boarding teams ready to assist the disabled ships. Medical personnel first, then engineering support." As the crew rushed to comply with his orders, Commander Harrison moved to stand beside his captain. "Quite a day for the history books, sir." "Indeed, James," Walker replied, watching as the first rescue shuttles launched from the Triumph's base. "But the real challenge begins now. We've shown them our strength. Now we need to show them our humanity." The Triumph's massive hull gleamed in the starlight as its crews worked to assist the very ships they had just defeated. It was more than just a victory in battle. It was a statement to the galaxy. Humanity had arrived on the interstellar stage, not just with superior firepower, but with the wisdom to know when not to use it. In the distance, the disabled Carthian ships floated quietly, their crews about to learn firsthand that humanity's capacity for compassion matched its capability for combat. The age of Earth's isolation was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. 3 days after the historic battle, the U.S. Triumph's conference room buzzed with activity. Captain Walker sat at the head of the long table, surrounded by both his senior staff and several Carthian officers, including Supreme Commander Volk. The alien commander looked markedly different from his first transmission, his earlier arrogance replaced by a mix of respect and curiosity. "Your engineering teams have been." Volk paused, searching for the right words, "most generous in helping repair our ships. This is not the treatment we expected from a victorious opponent." Lieutenant Emily Brooks, who had mastered enough of the Carthian language to speak without the translator, smiled. "Earth has a long history of turning former enemies into allies, Commander. We prefer making friends to making ruins." Around them, holographic displays showed the ongoing repair efforts. The Triumph's advanced engineering teams had not only restored power to the disabled Carthian vessels, but had even improved some of their systems. Chief Engineer Foster had discovered several ways to make their engines more efficient, much to the amazement of the alien engineers. "The data we've gathered is remarkable," Intelligence Officer Roberts reported, bringing up a new display. "The Carthian Empire spans over 300 star systems, but they've never encountered a species with our approach to technology. They focused on perfecting existing systems, while we constantly innovated and explored new possibilities." Walker nodded, watching as another set of statistics scrolled past. The Triumph's computers had been analyzing the Carthian database, learning everything they could about this new civilization. What they found was fascinating. An empire that had grown comfortable in its technological superiority, never facing a real challenge until now. "Message from Earth Command." "Sir," Brooks announced, checking her tablet. They're throwing us a parade when we get back. Apparently, the whole planet watched our battle recordings. We're heroes. The whole crew earned it," Walker replied. He turned to Volk. "Commander, I hope you'll understand if we keep some of our technology classified. But we're prepared to share advancements in medical science, agricultural techniques, and clean energy production. We believe trade and cooperation benefit everyone." Volk straightened in his chair, his expression solemn. "The High Command has already sent new orders. The Carthian Empire wishes to establish formal diplomatic relations with Earth. Your demonstration of both power and restraint has changed many minds among our leadership." Lieutenant Jessica Green spoke up from her position near the AI control panel. "Our combat computer has finished its analysis of the battle. The Carthians' traditional tactics were perfect against less advanced civilizations, but they never developed the kind of adaptive strategies we use. Their strength became their weakness. A lesson we won't soon forget," Volk admitted. "Already, our military academies are requesting information about human tactical doctrine. Your approach to warfare, the emphasis on minimal casualties and proportional response, it's revolutionary to us." Walker stood, walking to the window that overlooked Earth's solar system. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars. Not as conquerors, but as equals, perhaps even teachers." The room fell quiet as both humans and Carthians considered the implications. The battle had done more than just defend Earth. It had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage in a way that couldn't be ignored. "The quantum core modifications are complete," Foster reported, breaking the silence. "We can begin mass-producing the new shield technology within months. Every human ship will have the same capabilities as the Triumph. And the Carthian Empire will remember this day," Volk added. "The day we learned that strength alone does not guarantee victory, and that true power lies in knowing when not to use it." As the meeting continued, Earth's first battleship hung proudly in space, its quantum core humming softly. The Triumph had lived up to its name, not just through victory in battle, but by turning potential enemies into future friends. In the ship's halls, human and Carthian crews worked together, learning from each other, building bridges between their civilizations. The stars seemed brighter somehow, full of new possibilities. Humanity had passed its first major test among the stars with flying colors. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. In the endless expanse of space, a new chapter in human history had begun. The U.S. triumph had shown the way, and Earth would follow, reaching for the stars not with conquest in mind, but with hope, innovation, and the unshakable human spirit that had brought them so far.